Do you think women fail to see most men's struggles because they have no point of reference? No, I don't. I think women fail to empathize because they're born in an anxiety psyche of resources and kids, and I need to have kids soon, and they're always in a panic mode, and you can't think clear when you're in a panic mode. Even if you're chilling, even if you have kids, especially if you have kids, you start going, what if something happens to them and stuff? So it's always their problems are much bigger than the males because they're thinking of children, which is noble, but it makes them selfish. It makes them wicked. It makes them so makes their personality so ugly when they don't have kids. Now, when they're selfish, like if I meet a selfish mom, that's weird to say. If you're a mom, how can you be selfish, right? Like, I hate a gold digger, but when I find out she's got kids, I still hate the bitch. But when she got no kids and she's being that selfish, then I hate the bitch, you know? Yeah. So, women, I mean, look at this, dude. I went my whole life not realizing this, but women are just not all there. That's it. And I don't mean that to make my mom cringe. I mean it like, Mom, I can't watch one movie with you without you fluffing my pillow and bringing me snacks. Or the movie gets a little, like the kid gets punched in the teeth, and then my mom starts crying next to me. And I'm like, Ma, it's a movie. We're not that lucky where the kid gets punched. I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? They're just not, they're bombarded with emotions. So I say, Mom, as much as I make you cringe when I talk, you got to know that I'm saying you're emotional. And she's like, yeah, I am emotional. That's it. Okay? And so my mom I would consider my mom equal to me, right? Human. But I would never consider a modern day woman equal to me, ever, right? My mom's above me. She's not equal, but I'm saying, you know what I mean? We can have a conversation at equal intellectual plane. But a modern day female that I meet on the street, she can never have that conversation with me, especially if she's smart. Why? Because when they're smart, they're competing with men. So it's almost like you want to, if you're gonna meet. Here, I'll just say this: every single warlord, emperor, and genius throughout history always married a dumb girl. That's it. Every single one of them. That's it. Because women already suffer from penis envy. Freud, if you Google why Freud is controversial and got debunked, it's because of it's a group of feminists who debunked him. There's no intellectual who debunks him. Go on Google and search up why Freud is stupid. And you'll be shocked to find out nobody actually ever debunked the guy. It's just people who are butthurt that, yeah, he's right. Women suffer from penis envy. And he's wrong about a lot of things, but the stuff he's right about is the stuff that really makes you, like, it gets under your skin if you're a woman. And you'll see a beautiful woman that lacks penis envy. Like, if a girl truly knows she's beautiful, she doesn't try and compete with the guy, right? But if she thinks she's ugly in her head, right? And most of the time you're right. If you think you're ugly, bro. If you think you're ugly, you try and compete with the guy. And, the guy kind of like never notices. The guy just thinks it's an argument. He never actually notices and goes, oh, she's just ugly as fuck. Yeah, Freud was a atheist. Well, I wouldn't say he's an atheist, but definitely not religious. No one of superior intellect was ever an atheist throughout history, right? Nietzsche was a paid-off But look, all you gotta ask, if you ever find someone cringing at what you're saying, Just ask her, do you think young women are targeted more than young men by mainstream media? No brainer. They all say yes. Right? And what they're admitting there is that, the modern day woman intellectually struggles a lot more than the man. That's what they're admitting. They just cannot form it in that sentence, but they're admitting it. Because if you see how effective marketing is, you'll know how much it's affecting them. And then the question really becomes, when did it start penetrating the female psyche? Was it 13 years old? Was it 14? Man, I think they start with 12 years old with Hannah Montana. Right? And if a human can look you in your eyes and admit that women are 1,000 times more penetrated by mainstream media, social media, legacy media, every single corporation in America, if they can admit that, ask them, what are you admitting? If you're admitting that, what are you actually admitting? Right? And try and if you really want to corner her in this conversation, say, try and not use yourself as the example so you don't get emotional. Well, I'm not really manipulated by mainstream media. Yes, you are. Okay? A good girl walks around every day like a hoe. Why are we pretending like the good ones cannot be the example? Because the good ones, even if they're not, you'll look like a hoe. It's like if I went live with a gag. What's that thing called? Come on, man. It's Pulp Fiction. The gag thing. Ball gag, yeah. If I went live with a ball gag, every single girl on this website would be like, what the fuck? Yo, why his stream is very sexual. And yeah, if your optics are of a hoe, then even if you're not a hoe, perception is reality and you're perceived as a hoe. And if everyone in your tribe is thinking you're a hoe, you're gonna start doing hoe shit. It's just a matter of time. Okay? Stop looking at well, there's this one girl who never did. Dude, stop. Okay? And why is that controversial to say that women are more affected by corporations than men? Why is that controversial? Here's why. Because the root of the problem is it's the woman. Because we can't say the root of the problem is media, which it actually is, but we can't say that because that's like assuming we can live without it. You can't. You can't run from it. You have no island to go to. It's everywhere. It's connected to your paycheck, right? Even if you're not a creator, you're biometrically bonded. And it's just going to get worse. And even if you avoid all mainstream media, your friends don't avoid it. So they affect your thinking. Right? So is it, one in the chat, if you agree, the modern day woman will never tell you anything profound like your mother did. Right? Your mom will give you, oh my God, your mom will teach you more than anyone on earth. Right? Now, why that's a problem to say, right? In politics, why people say that's misogynistic is because some people who are started think that means you have to hate your partner or the modern day woman in your room. Right? And it's no, you shouldn't hate them because they're poisoned. And the women who are not that affected by media and are very intelligent and bring a lot to the table, they'll never admit that all of their friends are poisoned because they're just not tough. They don't want to live that life. It's, yeah, exactly Saturn energy, right? And so Saturn's the furthest from the sun, so it's considered the coldest in the 7 celestial bodies, because in the ancient times there was 7. That's why they named, Sprite, there's 7 up. It's pointing to the 7 heavens above. And that Saturn energy is the furthest from God. You will never meet a woman closer to God than a man, ever in your life. You'd have to go to the extremes of the extremes, where you go to nuns, and that's not us. That's not the everyday American, Canadian, whatever. That's why there's only male priests. Exactly. A female priest is an abomination. Okay? That's just... No. That is just... Yikes. Do you think even Red Pill is a program that tries to separate women and men as much as possible? Yes, 100%. The regular red pill is not a tradition pill. The regular red pill is to have 6 to 8 bitches in your circle, your orbit. That's still playing in a neoliberal framework. That's still hookup culture. You're still in their game. The real red pill about dating is Mother Mary and marriage. Okay? And you're not going to ever find a man who says, I don't want to be married. Anytime a man says, I don't want to be married, you can hear the hurt in their voice. Right? They feel almost ashamed when they say it. Every time I say I don't want to get married, I'm really saying not right now. Not right now. No. But I've never, if you said, hey, Zherka, you can have this Ferrari right here, but you can never be married, I'd say, that Ferrari. God wants you guys to get married, okay? Just not with Western women. Because they're all... It's scary, dude. It's like, and here's how I define whore. If you look me in my eyes and you say, yeah, John, our daughter is allowed to go dance at 14 years old on TikTok, you're a whore and you're going to burn in hell. And 80 to 90% of the girls that message me believe in that. They won't say it because they're trying to, I'm trying to date Zherka, so they won't tell me outright. But deep down, it's just a TikTok, John. And here's the scariest part. When I talk like this, everyone points their finger in their head. Every average person points their finger at me and says, you're a strict dad. There's nothing strict about saying a 14-year-old girl shouldn't be dancing on TikTok. And check this out. I was saying this when I was in 8th grade and I would watch American Idol with my parents. And I said, they're raising a child because they're parents. And my parents would be like, oh, enough. Just watch the American Idol. And I was in grade 8 when I used to say things like this. Because there's something so wrong about seeing children on TV. It's disgusting. Even if they're painting, it's like TV in front of millions of eyes. That's where children belong. Why? To inspire other children? That's retarded. Why not put adult role models and then we'll just grow up wanting to be adults instead of wanting to be kids? Like, now adults grow up wanting to be Justin Bieber at 40, at 30. It's that. Hey, my SoundCloud, bro. My SoundCloud is degenerate. Do you think sexual degeneracy will be forgiven by God? I hope not. I know that means he's going to punish me, but hey, I will gladly be punished by God if it means every single hoe in society, all those pedo worshippers, all of them burn. They should all be burning in hell, because it's like, my dude, I saw someone post a meme about, oh, conservatives don't like the trans and the children events, but they don't have a problem with children's beauty pageants. Yes, we do. You're thinking of an American conservative, which is actually a whore. A real conservative is a Saudi. Okay? I'm not saying Americans want to be just like Saudis, that extreme, but it's a better society. It's a healthier society. You know what a Saudi woman thinks about? Her kids and husband, and not because she's being forced. Hassan goes live, and all these liars go live and say a Saudi woman is being forced to love her kids. Are you joking me? American moms don't love their kids. American moms do not care about their kids. It's kind of backwards, right? In all my life, I would preach freedom and not, I'd go higher on freedom, less on security, like I'm some Captain America. It's wrong. Iron Man was right. Iron Man was right. Security over freedom, because guess what? The freedom you have in America, every single liberty is handed to you by pedophiles. How is that freedom? George Soros, freedom? That's the kind of freedom you want? I would actually restrict my freedoms knowing I'm getting rid of that system, right? I'll have a worse life knowing the next generation doesn't grow up by it. And it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse talking about this every single stream, and people think that I get angry if I see an American Idol commercial. I don't, and that's what I'm angry about, is that I'm used to it, that we're all used to it. This is just normal to us. It's just normal to hoe out your kids. It's disgusting. And you ask yourself, is this Balenciaga thing gonna go away? It already did. Nobody gives a about it. Okay? There's something about the American individual that hates children. And everyone looks at me and goes, John, you're trying to save children? No, I don't give a about these strangers. I don't give a about children. I'm fighting for my childhood because it was stripped from me. Do you get what I'm saying? I live like I'm going to be reincarnated or something. When growing up, I would feel these cold waves of adulthood when I was 13. And it would just come and go. And I'm like, what is that? Is that just growing up? No, it's not growing up. That's not in third world countries. What is that cold wave? What is that? That's from the television right there. This guy. Not caring about children is some anti-humanism satanic shit. Okay, you're clearly a pedophile. You care about kids too much, bro. I didn't think I have to explain this to this in chat, but clearly your mom's a... Listen to me, you dumb bitch. When I say I don't care about kids, I'm saying it in a way where I'm saying you don't either. It's like when we talk about, do you care about starving kids in Africa? Nobody cares. You didn't do anything about it today. No, nobody in this chat did anything about that. Caring means you start mobilizing your actions. That's what I'm trying to say is when I talk about saving kids, it's not because I'm Santa Claus. I'm saying because my childhood was stripped from me. Not as bad as these Zoomer retards, right? What is it, 80% of Zoomers are depressed? That can't all be real. Matter of fact, I don't think most of that is real, by the way. That's 80% of Zoomers being depressed. What are you mad about Fortnite? You're depressed because you live in perpetual modernity. And when you're 28, you're going to be more extreme than me, or you're going to be cucked. You have two options. I'm the least extreme and I sound crazy. Imagine what you're going to be when you see how bad life goes for you. When I look into my past, when I recollect my past, every single time some bad stuff was happening to me, it was because I had this guise of modernity, but deep down I knew I'm a conservative. I would pretend. I want to play neoliberal ball with you guys. Where the f does that lead you? Growing up on Jordan Peterson owning feminists was fun. No, wrong. That's wrong. If you grew up on Jordan Peterson, you're telling me the maximum was Peterson of your masculinity scale. That's just not healthy, dude. The maximum of your masculinity psyche, where you think of your heroes, your icons, has to be so extreme you can't say it live. You know what I mean? It's got to be Wolverine. It can't. Peterson's got to be in the middle, or else your psyche's broken, dude. That's very unhealthy. That's so unhealthy to think Peterson is iconic. Jordan Peterson is a stepping stone in your political journey. That's it. If Jordan Peterson is the end all be all, you've got a lot of growing up to do. And I know 15-year-old kids who share my views, so it's not like it's hopeless. But Zoomers are sad, dude. Zoomers are like, hey, you want to play Mario Kart? Yeah, I want to play Mario Kart. Okay, let's play. I want that controller. And I Zoomers on purpose. I go, I want that controller. This is my okay, fine, you can have my controller. I don't like this controller. Go get me that third one from the shelf. What's wrong with it? Go get me my third one. Okay. He goes, and I keep asking for things, and we never start Mario Kart. And I just see in my head, when is enough enough? I'm going to bully you until you clean my whole house? When I was 15 years old, if you said, no, John, I want your controller, I'd say, no. This is mine. You're a guest in my house. That's how I would word it. But Zoomers are so defeatist mindset. They're so pathetic. And it's like, it sounds like I'm angry, but deep down you'll be sad when you see it. You won't be angry at the Zoomer at all. You'll be really sad. Right? You'll be angry at the ruling class for sure. Zherka, do you ever feel like you are forever fighting a losing battle? Yes, I do actually. But we've gotten pretty good at these losing battles. One in the chat. And let me know where that's from. The Pandora's box. What's he saying here? The Pandora's box of degeneracy. That's such a good way to word it. Actually, has already been opened by society. It's like if the whole society was addicted to heroin and now has tolerance, then going back to a lower addictive lifestyle afterwards seems impossible. True, but you gotta study history to find hope. What you're saying is not wrong at all. But there is a threshold, there's a breaking point where society has seen enough. And usually that comes with 40 million souls being lost, 60 million World War, whatever it is. But usually when enough people die, when there's enough bloodshed, society shifts. Will we see it in our lifetime? A world war of that magnitude, a world war for sure, right? Where a lot of dominant countries are immobilized. But will we see that level of suffering? No, because of the technocratic revolution that's happening, which means they're, tightening control. But the lives that are going to be lost is going to be through a different pathway, if you know what I mean. And really, once society has had enough suffering, they only go to God. And this has happened throughout history. That's why the ruling class, like Yuval from the book Homo Sapien, that's why he takes jabs at God. That's why they take so many jabs at holy books, because they know the last fight will be a spiritual one, right? Where you're going to see even hoes pick up the Bible. You're going to see downright Magdalene hoes pick up the Bible, right? And it's kind of like this. Do I get sad and black-pilled because we're always a part of the losing side, even when we're winning? Like, even when conservatives are winning, it's still a society. Which means high crime rate society, because, you know, the women are a reflection of how men are doing. And it's like this. God promised that this is the devil's material world, that we will be fighting the devil. So it's just going according to plan. It's not that sad if it's going, you know, remember when the Joker said, nobody panics if everything's going according to plan? When you realize, like, check this out. I will gladly fight a battle that I'm losing for the rest of my life if I know the history books will write down that I was on the side of God. No matter how much bad things they say about me, they say he was on the side of God, right? And then something more important than that, but I say that for the nihilists and the atheists, is that I join God, right? I eventually join God, right? That my story on earth isn't going to look like a whole story. It's not going to look like a drug dealer's story. It's going to look like, hey man, you kind of sounded crazy like Alex Jones, but you woke up a lot of people and you got back at those cocksuckers. That was pretty impressive. What you did on earth was pretty admirable, and you've been exonerated of all sins. Go to your 72 virgins. And I'll be like, yo, what the f-? And he'll be like, my bad. I'm Jesus, bro. My name's Jesus. Come in here. And, yeah. But is it blackpilling? I'll answer it directly. I wanted to kill myself. Before I went live, I wanted to kill myself. You know, I'm saying that not literally, but I hated which way society is going. When I got viral and I realized there's people on my side, and I don't mean people on my side like on the internet where it's like fake. I mean, like, I talk to them. Oh, this is a fighting chance. If I've learned anything in life, it's you give me a fighting chance and I will win. But I spent, 26 years with no voice. Zero. I let the teachers rape me. I let the professors hurt me and take my money. I let liberals take all the jobs I've ever had. Imagine taking my slave labor from me, and that's the worst you can do to me. And I'm not saying that like, oh, I don't miss work. No, I really missed work. That was my whole friends. That was my whole community. That was everything to me. Taking away my slave labor was the biggest mistake they ever did. Because you isolate me long enough, I'll be here. And I'm not like these others. I never stop. I'll never stop. You're going to be 70 years old tuning into my channel and be like, he's still wearing that hoodie. And by then, Trump will be in the history books. They're going to write him like Mussolini by then. But Mussolini was bad. Trump is good. But you know, they're going to make him into one. Mussolini was a bad guy. But they're going to say Trump was Mussolini. You know, but they're going to, and I'm still going to wear this. Kind of like the most emotional moment I had. There's not even, yeah. The most emotional moment I ever had politically, and probably not the most emotional, but the one that I remember is I was live, I was hallucinating. It was like 40-hour stream. I was exhausted, tired, and we're just like laughing and all that and enjoying ourselves. And then we watched this Dr. K talk to a Trump supporter, and this motherfucker was so based and so old. Everything besides the LSD thing. And as we're watching it, my whole chat spamming Zherka in 20 years or something. And you know, usually that hurts the streamer or whatever, because this guy's life was going crazy wrong and he was doing whippets. Yeah, that guy. The first time you see on my stream, I start smiling from ear to ear. because everyone's saying he's just like you, dude. And I had this total spiritual experience watching that, because I'm like, whoa, everyone knows all the opinions I have at 26, 27, 28, I'm going to have at 70, because there's no puberty anymore. There's no change. And I don't want to change. I'm not like those people who are open to change, especially when conservatives say, we grow. No, we don't. Look, if I grow enough, I turn into Joe Rogan, right? And that sounds funny, but that's where you end up if you keep growing and open-minded. And I don't want to be like Joe. I'm a red. I'm never going that way. But when you watch that and you realize, hey, man, that's kind of cool. That's kind of like, even if the devil wins till we're 70 years old, we get to turn into that guy, and you can see freedom in his soul. Forget his name, and we can react to it. I've watched it 3 times. This would be the 3rd time. But is it blackpilling that they're always winning? Yes, but laugh at this tragedy, dude. You're gonna have real tragedies that are gonna, your soul goes through phases. So there's a phase that your soul goes through that's the darkest day of your life and the darkest hour, and you know what I'm talking about. And you're waiting for that day. You're learning to brace for that day. Do you guys know what I'm saying without me saying it? I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about something much worse. One day, your loved ones will pass away to God. You understand? One day that's going to happen, and it's inevitable. 100,000%. No human goes by without that. And that'll be the darkest, I don't even want to say day. That'll be the darkest life you will adopt after that. And you're bitching about political problems, societal problems. You understand? The political, societal, all these problems are to build you for real tragedy. You better be prepared. You understand? And now look at this. To atheists in chat, if you have not built your spiritual armor, and it takes a while, I'm not these fucking Christians who say, oh, if you accept Jesus, oh, I'm fixed. Doesn't work like that. It's through actions, Listen to the Catholics on that one. It's through actions that your spiritual armor builds. You accept the Spirit of God into your soul, and the devil has a weaker grip over time on you. And then you build your spiritual armor to the real day of tragedy, right? Because that's going to be the worst day of your life. And if you're a nihilist, if you're a gamer, if you're an atheist, and you think you're ready for that day, you're going to remember this stream. But God has told us how to live to brace for that day. You'll have a wife and kids, which is going to minimize that impact. And that's what you guys all have to prepare for, is like, to have that spiritual armor, you got to build a tribe and a family, and you have to build healers around you. And not just healers, people who count on you, right? That you can't just, I'll just kill myself. You can't do that. You understand? See, this is why I don't answer the black pill questions, because it gets very black pilling after I give the full answer. I'm never answering that one again. I'm still talking to that one chatter. Yeah, this guy owes me $100. Check this out, dude. There is no political black pill if you have God.